So, let's see. So I wanted to know, do either of you ever feel that 3 p.m. slump? Do you ever hit that wall?
No, you know what I get? I cannot get up in the morning.
Oh, well, that's interesting. Well, hopefully this will help. Hopefully this will help as well, because it's about energy, and so we're going to talk about recharging naturally. No coffee, no crashing, and so hopefully this will give you some insights into that. So we're going to first do the emotional frequency exercise. I'm going to share my screen. This will just take us a couple of seconds, actually. And and you can download it in the chat. If you open up the chat, you'll see I loaded it into the chat. And I'm going to put it on the screen. And what I'd like you to do is just look at this graphic and decide where you are right now. Are you on the upward spiral? Are you on the downward spiral? There's no judgment. Wherever you are is just perfect for right now. So if you would take a look at that. And when you've got it, just, I guess, since there's a few of us here, raise your hand or nod your head or something.
Okay, I've got it.
You got it? Okay.
Yeah.
And Jen, do you have it?
Yes,
Okay.
sorry. My
Okay. No,
hand was too small and too
no,
fast.
oh, no, no problem. So if you would you put it in the chat just so we have a record, okay? Um, because we're going to use this later. Excellent. Excellent. Can you see that?
So I just tell you where I am on that spiral, or
Yeah. Yeah. Just type it into the chat, and
not sure exactly where, but
do you want me to open up the picture again?
no, that's okay. Um,
So what we call this is emotional frequency, and it's important to know the exercise is so that you can understand, as Kat said, you get up in the morning and don't really feel like energetic. Knowing where you are um, can make a difference in how your day starts. So um, about okay, great, excellent. Thank you both. So what we'll come back to this, as I said, later. So and just an awareness is the left side of the frequency guidance scale was higher ratings. So you would be more in a higher emotional state. And the lower side, the right side was lower emotional states. And so the idea is that you want to be aware where you're spending your time during your day, so that you can impact it. They say that, as we've said a lot, is 80% of success is your psychology and 20% are mechanics. So when you're looking at this emotional guidance scale, this can kind of guide you into knowing how can you be more successful in your life, by using your emotional state as a foundation. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah,
Is
can
that
you say that again? 80% success is what?
80% of success is psychology. It's
Oh,
what you think, it's how the messages you give yourself, what you focus on. So it's psychology, and 20% is mechanics. And
okay.
so in order did you get that, Kath?
Yeah, I
Okay.
did.
Okay. So in order to impact that, we're going to do just 2 minutes of an exercise that Tony Robbins created called priming. And what we're going to do is just lift our arms up and down for like to the count of five. Breathe, as you go up, you breathe in. As you come down, you breathe out. And then we're going to take just a couple seconds. Actually, it doesn't take that long, and think about what are 3 things you're grateful for today. Okay. So if we can start that now, you might want to push back from your table or something. But so on the count of 3, we're going to raise our arms and then come down. And as we raise them, we're going to inhale and then exhale. Okay. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now think of 3. Take a deep breath and think of 3 things that you are grateful for today, right in this moment. And feel the energy throughout your body. Do you can you feel a difference doing that? So the way this exercise usually works is you do this 10 times and and then you do it 3 sets. So it really gets your blood pumping, your energy, your breath going. But Jen, did you feel a difference at all? Or
Oh yeah.
what difference did you feel? Okay.
Well, because I exercise so much, any breathing in with your nose, out with your breath, and moving at the same time raises your endorphins, is it?
Yes, yes.
So even a little bit of exercise is always going to pick up my mood.
Excellent. Excellent. That's perfect. And Kath, what did you feel? Was there a difference you felt
Little,
between?
not a lot, not a lot.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it was a short exercise, but just you can find this on YouTube, and it's Tony Robbins priming. And I love to do this. I try to do it a couple times a week. I find it most helpful when I wake up in the morning, Kath, and my energist, the messages in my head are like, oh, I don't feel like doing that, or I don't want to do that. And so I go, okay, time to prime. And it really changes the energy. It just really gives me more power energetically. I'm imagining, Jen, you must feel that if you exercise a lot, because that's pretty similar.
Yeah, I mean, I don't jump out of bed the way I used to when I was, a little younger maybe and still working. I,
Right.
I like to laze around, but it's more of I like to laze around than I don't want to get up.
Right, right. Well,
So,
that's a choice. I mean,
yeah.
really, it depends on what your goals are and what you want out of your day, your week, your month, your life. So are you guys ready to master your energy? If it's a yes, put yes in the chat. We are going to work the energy reset code right now, and what you'll find is what is draining you and what's giving you energy. So when you manage your energy correctly, you become unstoppable. I mean, and I'm going to keep using you, Jen, as an example, because really, when you exercise, no matter how much it is, as long as you get that your blood going and your breathing going, it makes such a difference in your brain functioning, everything, how you think about life. So you really become unstoppable. So, are you guys ready?
Right.
Excellent. So, what I want to say is, and I know I have 2 people, I know Kathleen so well. You're not lazy, not broken. Your energy system is simply mismanaged. So it's just about managing it better. And today we're going to talk about what is called 3 energy thieves and a simple reset formula to fix them. So the 3 energy thieves. One is actually rest, poor rest cycle, which means your battery is never fully charged and you're walking around sometimes half dazed. And so it's really important to notice if the pattern that you live in is to have a poor rest cycle. The second thief is toxic inputs. So what you're eating, maybe scrolling on on social media or YouTube, whatever you're watching, is it toxic to your brain or your energy? And is it draining you at the in the long run, or at the end of that period of scrolling or eating something that's, I mean, I think a culprit is a lot of sugar can really drain you. But paying attention to that pattern, how are you treating your body and your energy? And is that the one of the three thieves that's taking your draining your life? The third thief is actually overstimulation, and this keeps you wired but tired. And I used to live in adrenaline. I guess I didn't realize it, but I was addicted to adrenaline. I would go to sleep after midnight most nights. I'm really a night person, and get up before 7 in the morning. So um, I don't drink coffee or tea or anything like that. So it wasn't I was getting stimulants, but I was overstimulated because I was overtired, and so I was wired, really wired to keep going. So I'm curious, where do you notice you're losing your power? Which thief would you say? Is it the poor rest or toxic input or overstimulation?
I really think it's a mixture of the three.
Ah, oh, that's interesting. Okay. Okay. Well, that's very interesting, important data. That's great, Kath. If you had to, if it's a combination of all three, which one stands out most for you?
I don't know. My sleeping sometimes is really off. I mean, I could
Mm,
sleep one night, 8 without waking up or anything. And the next night, I don't know, it's like my mind is going and I can't get to sleep. So I don't
okay.
know. And there's no
So
rhyme or
that
reason why.
Okay, so that might be the number one. I mean, I'm certain, I know that I have at least two two thieves that drain me. But there's usually one that we you can focus on, pay more attention to make a difference. And for me, it's the sleep. I really work with that. And I have a tool that I'm using that I'm going to share with you towards the end. But here's the thing, what really helped me was reframing sleep, which was my thief, from energy, like, why was that? What do I need sleep for? And it's really about repair. Energy is not just rest, it's about repair and regeneration. And so when that is taken care of, then you can really see a big quick win. Um, when your body clock can change, and you can unlock that natural battery system, you'll see that there's repair. And I'm thinking, Jen, you must be very sensitive to this, especially if you're working out, getting up in the morning, or I don't know when you exercise, but most people do in the morning, is you want to be at your best. And without sleep, that's really hard to do. So, yeah.
Well,
Uh,
I was going to say, I think all three things affect me as well.
uh-huh.
Some of which I definitely think I can control. I don't get enough sleep. I
Okay.
don't have any trouble sleeping. I just don't get enough of it. I tend not to
Uh-huh.
sleep late anymore,
Hmm.
but I stay up late. And it's not necessarily because I'm not tired. It's that it's I feel like it's really hard to describe. I
Right.
spent so many years going to bed and waking up super early to commute into work. And as soon as I don't have to do that anymore, I kind of feel like I just want to stay up late. Plus,
Wow.
I was a real
Right.
night person, and my husband was a real morning person.
Yeah.
And so he switched me a bit. And as soon as he died, I was rebelling against that in a way. So instead
Oh,
of
wow.
going to bed when I was tired, I'd stay up and wake up at the same time to commute
Right.
and be exhausted.
Right.
And then
Well,
I right
was it?
now do have a real drain on my energy though that I
Uh,
recognize. And it's having to deal with my family, my
Right,
siblings.
right.
And
Well,
they just,
yeah, that's tough.
it's,
That's
yeah.
that's another session. Next week we're going to talk about relationships. So that would be perfect. But what I'd like to do actually is offer you both something that I have found works fairly well. It's just called the Power Down Hour Formula. And Kith, I don't know if this is an issue, but definitely Jen, I find that I'm a night owl as well. And getting up early, I'm not getting enough rest. And it's not, I don't subscribe to the you've got to get 7, 8, 9 hours of sleep. I think it's what your body needs. And I will say, I am noticing that when I have at least 7 hours, because often I'll get six, but when I have that seven, and you need to just know your own body. So I just feel better after seven. So what I discovered was something called the Power Down Hour Formula, and it's just 20 minutes of no screen, and that's so hard for me because I'm like, you know, I'll watch YouTube, some how to something, and then I like I got to go to bed. So um, um, I find that functional medicine doctors are suggesting this. It's 20 minutes of no screen, 2 minutes of deep breathing. Just letting all any negative energy and even positive energy that's got you so excited you don't want to sleep. But so it's 2 minutes of deep breathing. And I actually set an alarm because I'm very skewed with time, and I'll think 2 minutes is really 5 seconds. So I'm using sometimes just using I use a kitchen timer a lot for things. Um, and then the third thing is actually three things that you're grateful for in the moment. And I do that religiously every night. I really find it makes a big difference in my well-being. And if you try this tonight, you'll wake up fully recharged tomorrow. Do the 20 minutes no screen, just relax.
Can you read a book? Because usually I go to bed and I
Yeah,
read for like 20, 30 minutes.
as long as it's not on a screen, Kath.
Right. No, I have a physical
Okay.
book.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. 20 minutes, no screen, 2 minutes deep breathing, and three gratitude statements. And I find I do the gratitude statements, and all of a sudden I've got a smile on my face. It really makes it a nice difference. So these three, this power down our formula can really change your emotional state. It can change your behavior. And if everything's fine, although you've expressed some challenges, then this might not be something that's really right for you. However, try it and see what happens. And what I'm also curious about is now, what is one of the toxins that you would change? The rest, what something toxic input or overstimulation. For the next week, what would be something you could identify that might change
For,
how you.
for me, scrolling or I get so many emails from, and I feel I have to look at them all.
Okay. So toxic input. Are those emails are those emails draining you, or are they actually contributing to your energy bill, energy build?
It's a mixture. I mean, it's just a mixture. Some
Okay.
are uplifting and others are just like, oh God, here we go again.
Wouldn't it be great if you could have a filter that says
Yeah.
went through this? Don't waste your time on this one. Read this one. That would be great. Well, so that and Jen, is there one of those three, that one of the toxins, the rest, the in toxic input, the screen, overstim screen, um, what you eat, scrolling, or overstimulation? Is there one of those that would be something?
Um, not. I don't really scroll. I mean, I
Okay.
don't do social media. The most scrolling I do is maybe on YouTube at night because I don't have cable TV.
Right.
So I watch NPR on YouTube, and then I kind of get into comedy on YouTube, and that's not
Oh,
bad.
that's
I mean, I
good.
enjoy that.
Yes.
N
Well, what about,
my
oh,
biggest toxin is really and Kathleen knows about this. It's really going on in my personal life.
yeah.
And
Okay.
I would like one Monday not to have to wake up to emails about something I have to take care of for my sister in Ohio. And I guess the biggest thing for me, when I have
Mm,
issues like that, I take action. So I
right.
do the thing to get it out of my head.
Yes. Oh, good.
I'm dealing with my brother not taking the actions he promised me he would do for my sister's situation.
Uh,
And I'm having to pick up that slack because
yeah.
he doesn't like making phone calls or he's not as organized about getting
Right.
these things done.
Right.
I'm having to do all that and then like push him just to do what he promised to do.
Right.
So,
Right.
I mean, I think
That's
yesterday was my worst day, quite honestly, because I woke up to the email and I went to bed to an email from him. And that was like, okay, no, I
right. So Jen, one of the things we're talking about in this whole reset is being able to identify it. It sounds like you've identified it. You know what the toxic is. So if there was a way, um if you could use that formula, 80% of success is psychology. So if you wanted, if let I'm just projecting or imagining that your success with this situation in your family was that you wanted a peaceful life. And so 80% of success is psychology. So it's identifying the issue which you have. It's resetting how you're going to approach it or how you're going to think about it so that it doesn't take over your mental state. And then recharging. That's the 20% mechanics. And it's like you say, you do what you need to do. You can't control anyone else that's not doing what they need to do. And um, so it's, like this reset formula is identify the issue, reset it, and recharge. And so maybe that thinking of this situation in those terms, it may give you some kind of structure. It sounds to me that you're wanting to fix something that you don't have control over, and that's a really tough, that's tough for anyone. The only thing you can do is change your perspective on it and do what you can do without managing someone else. So if we could just go back to this whole thing about identifying what identifying what is the toxin that's in our lives, and looking at the natural daily rhythm. And then so that's step one. Step two is resetting, resetting your energy wherever you're leaking, those draining experiences that you're having with your family. Jen, I don't know, Kat, that there's something that's an energy leak for you, but removing that toxic input as best you can or minimizing it. And step three would be recharging with one small shift. One small shift can make a massive. One thing, in coaching, we say a 2 millimeter change can be a massive change in your life. So, I don't know, Jen. I'm not suggesting this. I'm just saying maybe you could hire someone to deal with your brother, or maybe your brother, or maybe your brother, I don't know the situation, or maybe your brother could hire someone to do what he's supposed to do but is not doing, so that at least the momentum keeps going. But we're not here to really work that out. So but I appreciate you sharing it. I know it must be, I know it must be very difficult. So the tool of the week that I want to share with you is that as a coach for Tony Robbins for 20 years, when I was putting this together, I was thinking, oh my gosh, I had anywhere between 45 and 65 clients every month. And what it turned into was it was somewhere between 135 to 195 coaching sessions a month. And Um, that's a lot. And and part of that meant that I was really passionate about solving the energy issues for my clients. I couldn't fix their issues, they had to fix them themselves, but I could make recommendations of tools. Most of my clients were entrepreneurs, and so they experienced the same things we're talking about today. And the what I'd like to say, the bonus I would give them was that I discovered a tool that really had made a difference for my circadian rhythm. We talk about not being able to sleep, or I found I guess it was about a year ago, that I would just run into a wall and I just had no energy, and my thoughts were like, oh, I had all these things to do, and my thoughts were like, oh, I don't want to do that. The reason I didn't want to do it was I didn't have the energy. So I discovered these what's called energy chews. They come. There's two parts. There's a sleep chew, which helps regulate your circadian rhythm, and then there's a morning energy chew, and if it repairs your mind, your body, your soul. At night, it helps that sleep chew helps you regain that level in your body that really gives you effective um, um, repair at night. And then the energy chew really helped made me be just so much more effective during the day. That personally, I could say, okay, bring it on. There were days where like I just didn't do anything, and now it's like I feel like bring it on. I can handle it. So if you're interested in that, just put it in the chat. That just put chew or something in the chat, and then I can send you some information on it. But it really, what I love about the night, I think about this, the nightly chews, I think of as like turning my power off so that I can get the rest and repair that I really need. So I wanted to also make an invitation. I created a momentum coaching program, and I just would like you to imagine 180 days focused just on your energy and your habits, you know, so that you can achieve the goals that you've set out for 2026. And we would get to work together, and it would be your time to strategize, to brainstorm, to design what it is that would really help you achieve your goals. And I'm very goal focused because at the end of the year, when you have no goals that are written out, it's easy for your brain to say, ugh, that was a bad year, or ugh, what was wrong with me? So when you have goals that are measurable and you get to the end of the year, you can say, oh, I did that. I did this. I did that. I did this. And it really is a different message and confidence that you have in yourself. So if you'd like to, debrief our conversation today, feel free to. I put in. Let me see. Let me just open the chat a second and make sure I did. I put my email in there. Yeah, I did. I put my email. So if you want to debrief that this session for a brief session, just let me know and we can schedule a time. So now what I'd like to ask you to do is we're at our 30 minutes and this is working out perfectly. So I'd like you to grab that I'm going to put back up on the screen, the emotional guidance system, because I would like you to look at, we've not spent a huge amount of time together, but I'd like you to look at it. And after this discussion, maybe you had an aha, or something shifted in you, you saw some possibility because of one of these tools. So where is your emotional guidance scale spot right now? And you could say it's you've increased, you could say you've decreased, or you could be the same. But it's great to use this. I use this scale every day. I get up in the morning, and I think I showed you, Kath, I use it. I use a journal that has this in it. So every day, every day I measure my emotional scale when I get up in the morning. And I don't necessarily use it at the end of the day to see where I am, but what I do use it is I say, okay, so I might have started the day at um, contentment. And is that where I really want to live my day? Usually I'm more around a three of enthusiasm or passion. And so I just decide this is how I'm going to live my day. I'm going to be enthusiastic. And if I wake up and I'm, excuse me, in overwhelm, I'm like, okay, I don't want to live my day in overwhelm. So I pick the emotional state I want to live in. And your psychology, your brain starts creating that. Um, Also, I will say doing the priming helps me achieve this as well. So, so now if you would look at this emotional guidance scale, where are you right now? And would you put that in the chat? Can you still see it? I did something with the Zoom. I'm not sure what I did with this. Okay. So did you guys put it in the chat?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Now I can get out of this and get back to I'm back to my screen. Okay. Um, so all right. Kath, you're between 4 and a 5
No,
upward.
no, no, no. I was wrong. I meant between three and I went up a little bit. I was at four, and I'm a little bit up, not quite at three, but a little bit up, I think.
Okay. All right. Good. Excellent. Excellent. And Jen, you're still about in the middle, 4 or 5. Okay, great. Excellent. And so it's not about judging this, it's just about being aware of you understanding where you are. And that's data. That's information that you can work with. Um, Again, I use the example of like at the end of the year, if you are if you are saying I want to achieve a goal, but or I didn't have a great year, and you don't know what having a great year would really mean because there were no goals set or no measurements. And so that's the same thing with your emotional state is when you can use this emotional um, guidance tool, it can really help you determine on where you want to live your life. And what I've seen is that makes a huge difference. You want to make it a habit. If you don't want to do it every day, like I do more things Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You know, it's the kind of the pattern that I set when I don't want to commit to doing something every single day, or do Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. But whatever it is, you know, take this on and notice how you're feeling. You may not see a change for a couple of weeks and you may see a change tomorrow. So, what I'd like to ask you to do for homework is the power down our strategy. You know, doing the 20 to 3, 20 minutes no screen, which we've talked about. You know, 2 minutes of deep breathing, and then 3 minutes of 3 gratitude statements to feel refreshed tomorrow. And I look forward to, please share. You've got my email address. Please share. Let me know. And next week, we're going to talk about relationships. Our results in life are directly tied to how well we communicate with clients, with our team, with family, how we nurture our family, and how we expand our network. And so next week, we're going to talk about some practical ways to deepen those genuine connections without feeling fake or salesy or manipulative. So really having authentic relationships are the greatest asset that you can have personally and professionally. So do you have any questions that you wanted to ask or
No,
anything?
I think, no, that was very good, Sarah. Thank you so much.
Oh, good. Well, I'm glad you appreciated that. And what I'd like to request is that you do both come next week and that you bring a friend like you did, Kath, this week. That was perfect. Oh my goodness. So on that note, I am going to end this and just thank you so much for being here. This is like
No, thank you.
awesome,
Thank
awesome,
you.
awesome, awesome. Thank you guys. Have an outstanding rest of the day.
You
Take
too.
care.
Thanks.
Great.
Okay.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.